मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome for today's Bhakti Shastri class. So before we start, in case you feel your friends are missing from today's class, generally every week, because the natural tendency is forgetfulness. Srila Prabhupada writes, that's why we are discussing on a chapter called as Transcendental Knowledge. Now, knowledge is because we have tendency to get forget. So you can just check in case your friends are not there, you can just call and remind them to join. We'll soon start. So in the previous chapter, Krishna describes in the third chapter how lust is the cause of material bondage. And we discussed about how lust has three strategic locations where lust sits. One is mind, one is senses, and one is intelligence. And at these three strategic locations, the lust is sitting. And as with deliberate spiritual intelligence, one has to deal with this enemy of lust. So for senses, we require regulation and discipline. For mind, we require determination. And for intelligence, we require discrimination. That happens by by reading the literatures. So we discussed a lot about how lust is the cause of material bondage, and because of lust only, one gets newer bodies. We discussed about how so many varieties of shopping products are there. 100 varieties of dresses, 100 varieties of toothbrush, 100 varieties of chocolate, 100 varieties of washing powder. These are all because of the desires of the living entity. Similarly, so many varieties of human bodies are there. That is mainly because of desires of the living entity. So many material desires a living entity possesses, that many new varieties of bodies are being created. So as long as we have material desires, as long as we have lust with us, then tab tak we'll keep on getting the new bodies. So now it was discussed that by deliberate spiritual intelligence, one can overcome this enemy of lust. Now, how to get this deliberate spiritual intelligence? Now, as we discussed, whatever one hears for a long amount of time, he will develop his consciousness like that because it is hearing that develops our consciousness. What do we hear? Where do we give our ear, and what do we hear? That's why if you see here, if you remove h from h, then it becomes ear. So whom do you give your ear? From where do you hear? That determines our consciousness. So we have to be very careful. Whom do we give our ear? Because ear is one of the most vital sense organ for performance of our bhakti. And we should protect this sense organ of ear at any cost. Because this is one of the most vital sense organ. Because an entire spiritual life, if you see Diksha also, Diksha in the traditional time, it happens by the process of ears, right? Now, so whom do we give our ear? From like the Guru gives mantra in the left ear or the right ear. So ears are the most important for our Krishna consciousness. So in this chapter, Krishna is giving the transcendental knowledge by which one can be protected from the bondage of lust. So Krishna describes in the initial few verses, Krishna described actually this knowledge, what I'm going to give, is not something new. I gave this knowledge to many, many people in the past. I even spoke this knowledge to Vivashwan, who was the king of the sun planet. And then in Vivashwan gave it to Manu, Ikshvaku, and all this dynasty it continued. But in the due course of time, the parampara of education got stopped. The university did not give right education. Like now also we see currently education is not given properly. So he said, I am again instructing this knowledge to you, Arjuna. Why? Because the kings, earlier saintly kings, used to understand this thing. But later, over the time, that is the nature of time, the kings got corrupted and this knowledge was lost. So again, I have come to give you this knowledge again. So in the previous chapter, Krishna described jnana, nishkam karma, which is said to be means to attain jnana. And here the goal of Nishkam Karma is Jnana. So here Jnana is also in this chapter, the Jnana or the transcendental Jnana is given. And so in the first four shlokas, Krishna describes the Parampara system. How Parampara is very important. So Lord Krishna spoke to Vivashwan to Manu to Ikshvaku, Evam Parampara Praptam. Then he mentions about, okay, it is not that I have to start a new parampara, then I require a right person. I require a right person. What is the right person? One who is devotee and my friend. So last class there was a discussion. I think one question was asked by one devotee about how to become friend of Lord or how to be in a friendly attitude towards Guru. So friend means one who is well wisher, one who is obedient, one who is same in the consciousness with Guru. That is called as friend. So Krishna spoke that if we also want to be part of parampara, then we have to be like a devotee of Lord and we have to be friend of the Lord. Then we can also become the part of the parampara. Then um, Arjuna asked a natural question. Anyone would have got. As such, Arjuna does not have that question. Arjuna feels, Krishna, you are speaking, you are telling me that you spoke this knowledge to Vivashwan. Arre, but how is it possible? We both took birth similar time. How is it that how and when did you go to Vivashwan and speak this knowledge? In dream or where? Because people will ask, we took birth same time. Then Arjuna again says, Oh Krishna, oh Arjun, Krishna tells, my position is a transcendental position. Don't think that you are me are same. You know only very limited things about your life. But I know many birds and all the birds. I remember everything. But you cannot remember everything. Because Jiva has tendency to be forgetful. Like if I were to ask you, okay, Prabhu, just 2 days before at 3:30 p.m. what you were doing? Now you may guess, okay, I was in company, but exactly what you were doing. Very rare to remember where you are sitting, whether you had gone to washroom, whether you had gone to here, whether what you are doing at 3:30 p.m. We generally forget because Jiva has tendency to be forgetful. But the supreme spirit, Krishna does not forget. That is the speciality of Lord Krishna, or speciality of Supreme Lord. So Arjuna is asking question here that how did you speak this knowledge to Vivashwan? I'm little confused. Actually, I am not confused. People in future may get confused. So that's why if you can clarify that what is your position, then that will be better. Okay, in the last class, how many verses we read, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, first two.
I think we read, na? Fourth, till fourth we might have read, na? Or no?
Oh,
Third and
n-
fourth?
no, Prabhuji.
Okay, fine. We'll read third and fourth then today. Okay, please let devotees. Saevayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. Yes, bro. Someone can read.
That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Purport. There are two classes of men, namely the devotees and the demons. The Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it is not possible to understand his great mysterious science. There are a number of editions of his great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by demons. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the second personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instruction. Here is a warning about such misleading path. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by the great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. So basically, there are two classes of men, devotee and demon. So please do not read the commentaries of demons. Prabhupada is clearly telling that many people write commentaries, but one should accept a commentary which is written by a devotee of Lord. So this was about third. So he's explaining. Now, fourth question. Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvataha Katham Etad Vijaniyam Tvam Adau Proktavaniti.
Arjuna said, the sun god Vivasvan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them only Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the fountainhead of everything and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present, but from time immemorial. And the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put these questions before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons, who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone for his own interest know the science of Krishna. Therefore, Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange, because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheist who consider Krishna as an ordinary man may in this way come to know about that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, and that he is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature.
Yeah, so we know who is asking question. That is very important. In Srimad Bhagavatam also there comes a discussion about who is asking question. That plays a very big role because if two great personalities are asking question, that questions carry a great value. Nahi alparthodayos tasya. So this in the third canto, this Vidura and Maitreya, this they are asking questions. So Srila Prabhupada writes, we have to the question answers asked by the two great devotees, they carry a very great meaning. But a question asked by some ordinary politician and all, they may not have that kind of such a great value. So based on the caliber of a person, who is a person who is speaking, that plays a very big role. So here Arjuna is asking question to Krishna about something very important. He's asking, he's a very asking very practical question. If sun is the origin of entire creation. Without sun, other planets cannot exist. And you say that sun is the senior most personality in the entire world. But you say that you gave this knowledge even to sun. How can I understand this, Baba? That you give this knowledge to sun? So Arjuna is asking this question, and he was clarifying this point for all of us. He's telling Arjuna put this question so that he can, we all can in future very get authoritative. That in future somebody says, "Oh Krishna, this is mythology." Then Prabhupada used to say, "If this is mythology, then what you are speaking is imaginology." He said, "We don't speak mythology. We don't speak imaginology. Imaginology means that is your imagination." So he said, so in this question, in this verse, Arjuna is clarifying for all of us that how is it possible, so that in future nobody should blaspheme Krishna, that you are speaking big things, that you spoke this knowledge to sun god. So now Krishna is answering in the fifth verse here. Arjuna, his transcendental nature, that I am not the normal person. You remember many births, I may remember. You have taken many births, I have taken many births, but you don't remember any of the births. But I remember all because I'm a special one. So Krishna is telling his position very clearly. Shri Bhagavan Bahuni me व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव च अर्जुन तानि अहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेत्त परन्तप. Yes,
The
Prabhu.
blessed Lord, the blessed Lord said, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, we have information of many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated there, Advaitam Achyutam
अद्वैतमच्युतमनादिमनन्तरूपं माद्यं पुराणपुरुषं नवयौवनं च वेदेषु दुर्लभमधुर्लभमात्मभक्तो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same original, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. It is also stated in Brahma Samhita, Brahmadi
आदिमूर्तिषु कलानियमेन तिष्ठा नानावतारमकरोद्भुवनेषु किन्तु कृष्ण स्वयं समभवत् परमान् पुमान्यो गोविन्दमादिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि.
worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is always situated in various incarnations such as Ram, Narsimha, and many sub incarnations as well, but who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna and who incarnates personally also. In the Vedas also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. He is like the
Vaidurya stone, which changes color yet still remains one. All those multi forms are understood by the pure unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of the Vedas. Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktaus. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord, and whenever the Lord incarnates, associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees, and in this verse it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, Arjuna, in a different capacity, was also present. But the difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. That is the difference between the part and parcel living entity and the Supreme Lord. Although Arjuna is addressed herein as the who almighty hero who could subdue the enemies, he is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be in material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as infallible, Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself, even though he is in material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord. But by the divine grace, a devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. Consequently, these descriptions in the Gita cannot be understood by demonic brains. Krishna remembered acts which were performed by him millions of years before, but Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna are eternal in nature. We may also note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body, but the Lord remembers because he does not change his Satchitanand body. He is Advaita, which means there is no distinction between his body and himself. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas the conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity, even when he descends to the material platform. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explains in the following verse.
So basically, this shloka, there is one very vital important theme which is being told here. What is the theme? So Krishna is telling many births, both you and I have gone. I can remember all, but you cannot. O subduer of enemy, O mighty Arjun. तो यहाँ पे हम देखेंगे, यहाँ पे कृष्णा ओ सबड्यूअर ऑफ एनी परन तप बोल रहे, परन तप मतलब सबको डिफिट करने वाला. So in this world, once one very vital lesson we can learn, that no matter who the one is in the material world, even if it is the Arjuna who can defeat anyone and everyone in this world, he said, everyone is insignificant in this world. Why? Because, like somebody may claim that I am Albert Einstein, somebody may claim that I am a very great learned hero, but all heroes are zeros. Why? No matter what we have done, we forget everything in the next life. We forget, even in this life only, we forget so many things. So he said, this forgetfulness is there. But Krishna says, I don't forget anything. You only forget everything. So, conditions, so we are changing our body from one body to another and we are forgetting everything, whatever we have done. So, it is said in the past life, we have enough experience of everything. It is not that key something we have not done. We have done everything, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, everything is done. And that's why we find that there are so many conditionings and vasanas which still continue. In the past life, we have experience of them. Otherwise, how they can trouble us. But despite of this, one doesn't get satisfied, even after experiencing all kinds of luxuries, everything. So here we find that Krishna is a special personality. He is not. So here the Sambandha Jnana is being focused so much that what is your position, Jiva, and what is the position of Supreme Lord. So Sambandha Jnana is being given again and again here. Hmm? So now Krishna says his position, that I am unborn and my body is imperishable. all our bodies of conditioned soul is perishable. Perishable means like you see the any all the bodies of decaying. They are decaying bodies. Today we have body, and year by year, day by day, you can see the most beautiful, handsome person becomes like a ugly fellow after some time, and he loses his beauty. The hair start growing white, and the body becomes wrinkle wala, and the memory gets loose. So all our bodies are perishable bodies, and they are awarded as a matter of punishment to the living entity. It's a punishment, or it's a facility to enjoy the material world which is given. And all our bodies are decaying. But we should not attach too much importance to this decaying body, because this is a temporary body. But one good part of this body is, although it is decaying, although it is temporary, but it is meaningful. Durlabham, but it is arthadam. It is arthadam. This human body is arthadam. Even it is temporary, it can achieve a great benefit by even in this temporary body. We can get a great benefit. So one should not pay too much attention to his perishable body, which is perishing. But one should pay attention to Krishna's imperishable body. And that is why Krishna is saying this is a knowledge one should focus on. Sometimes a person gets too much frustrated. Oh, why my body is like this? Why my intelligence is like this? Why don't I have so many skills? And person goes into so much depression. So yesterday, I'm in Ujjain currently. One statement I just heard from our Param Pujya Bhakti Prem Swami Maharaj. So Maharaj is a matter of humility. He was speaking in a very nice. So Maharaj very humble. So he said, "See, I am a simple person." He said, "I cannot speak like Radhesham Prabhuji. Neither I can make PowerPoint like Radhesham Prabhu." And he said, "Neither I can give powerful class like neither I know PowerPoint, neither I have power to speak powerful point." So Maharaj was telling. So he said, "But I can simply sing some Bengali songs. So that's all I can do." He was humbly telling. So once Bhakti Charu Maharaj told him that do not try to imitate others, or don't be like, I don't want to be like you. In the terms of, I want to take inspiration from you, but I am not you. So when we understand this, sometimes what happens, our a lot of depression and the frustration comes because we want to be someone else. Oh, he's a hero. I want to be hero. So we want to be someone else. And that is the cause of frustration for many of the devotees. Like we want to be someone else. But no, we are not someone else. We are ourselves. So whatever you have, use that capacity to the best possible extent. Everyone, Krishna has blessed everyone with the good amount of talents, and everything is there. Just discover that and use that in service of Krishna. So I don't want to be someone else. As soon as you understand this statement, na, there is a great relief. Because what is problem is, we are constantly trying to be someone else whom we are not, and we are constantly trying, and that leads to great of tension for the person. But no, I don't want to be you. I want to take inspiration from you, but I am myself. So Maharaj was telling this humbly. So we should not pay too much attention to this perishable body, but a jivatma should focus on the imperishable body of Lord. And here the Sambandha Gnan is being explained nicely. Hmm? Yes, Prabhu. Sixth verse. अजोऽपि सन् अव्ययात्मा भूतानामीश्वरोऽपि सन् प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय सम्भवामि आत्ममायया.
Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form.
By my
Purport.
internal energy, Atma Maya. By my internal energy, I appear. Yeah.
Purport. The Lord has spoken about the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many past births, whereas a common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. If someone is asked what he did exactly at the same time one day earlier, it would be very difficult for a common man to answer immediately. He would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what he was doing exactly at that same time one day before. And yet, men often dare to claim to be God or Krishna. One should not be misled by such meaningless claims. Then again, the Lord explains his Prakriti or his form. Prakriti means nature, as well as Swarupa or one's own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. He does not change his body as the common living entity changes from one body to another. The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has so fixed body, but times transmigrates from one body to another. The Lord, however, does not do so. Whenever he appears, he does so in the same original body by his internal potency. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his own original eternal form, with two hands holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is the Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. And although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that the Lord Krishna grows from his childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. But astonishingly, even he never ages beyond youth. At the time of battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home, or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked just like a young man 20 or 25 years old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us. Although he is the oldest person in whole creation, past, present, and future, neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of being in the material world, he is the same unborn eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Actually, his appearance and disappearance are like suns rising, moving before us, and then disappearing from our eyesight. Therefore, they, when the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun has set. And when the sun is before our eyes, we think that the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position. But owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of an ordinary man, common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his internal potency, and he is never contaminated by material nature. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi manifestation. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayan with four hands and the decorations of the six kinds of full opulences. His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entities so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is, and not on mental concoctions or imaginations, which the impersonalist strongly thinks the Lord's form to be. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy according to the Vishwakosh dictionary. The Lord is conscious of all his previous appearances and disappearances. But a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is the Lord of all living entities because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in the world. This is explained in the next verse.
Yeah. So we find that here everything about Lord's appearance is being spoken here. So Krishna speaks about here one very special word which comes, that is Atma Maya. So Krishna is explaining his uniqueness of his birth. That don't think that my birth is like ordinary, like any other living entity. It is Atma Maya, Sambhavami Atma Maya. It is by my internal energy that I take birth. It is by my own sweet will I take birth. The living entities in this world are forced to take birth. It is not that they take birth by their own choice. They are forced to accept different bodies. They cannot decide which body means once they can just desire and they get a birth. But Krishna is telling, I choose the time of my birth. I choose the place of my birth. And I choose even where to everything is happening by my own desire. That is Krishna is speaking here. So this verse is mainly speaking about uniqueness. What is unique about Krishna's birth? Because we are in this chapter of transcendental knowledge now, and Krishna is giving knowledge about in the first verse the importance of parampara system, and now he's speaking something about himself because Arjuna has asked a question that how is it that you spoke this knowledge to Vivaswan? So I'm confused. So Krishna is telling the uniqueness about his own birth. Hmm? So yes, Kaushik Pro.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
Krishna comes in his own spiritual body to this material world. So his body does not changes. But when a some soul comes in this world, so he gets some material body. So Prabhuji, it is said that we can imagine what we have experienced in life. That only we can imagine. Prabhuji, in this course of material life from time immemorial, we have not seen soul or we have not experienced soul. So it is very difficult to imagine it. So whenever, suppose I am saying that Karthik Prabhu has gone to company. So naturally, the body of Karthik Prabhu will come in my mind. That Karthik Prabhu has gone to company. So it is very difficult to imagine it on the level of soul. So Prabhuji, is it right? And how does a pure devotee will interpret this statement? So if Karthik Prabhu has gone to company, how a pure devotee see it? And when we imagine that अपन ऐसा सोचते हैं कि कार्तिक प्रो गए कंपनी में तो नेचुरली उनका बॉडी आता है माइंड में तो प्रभु जी ये सही है ना या इसमें कुछ गलत है
इट्स ओके मीन्स बॉडी गया तो साथ में आत्मा गया ही है ना ब्रो मतलब बॉडी अकेला कैसे जाएगा तो बॉडी गया है तो आत्मा व्यक्ति गया है वी डोंट रेफर एक्चुअली टू बॉडी ऑल्सो everyone in due even a even normal man who is not devotee after a due course of time he understands that his body is just like a machine which is aging after a few years the same body is decaying so generally whenever we refer to a person we refer to a person only it is not that we refer to some this machine of a person like no- to the extent like suppose I said okay Prabhu has gone to company so we don't refer to the car we don't refer to the car who has gone to the company or bike he has gone by bike oh we refer to a person only so material body is just a vehicle only but in common sense it's okay we don't say this body of this devotee has gone soul is here only no J- as long as we are in
Nowadays,
this material body as long as we are in this material world the material body which is given is a sadhan it's a vehicle for performing sadhana it's a vehicle it's a sadhan so it is okay it's not a issue.
just wanted to ask you that when we have not experienced the soul, so when we imagine this statement, what I've said, so at that time, Karthik was gone, the person has gone, but the body of a person comes in the mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
The personality of the person comes, that how the person sees, so that comes in the mind. So I think it is right on it because we cannot imagine soul.
Yeah. So you're regarding your question about we have no experience of the soul. Actually, experience we are only
Right.
soul. It is not some soul is not something different than us. It is not that ki we are only soul. Like you are talking, you are speaking, you are asking question. It is you only. It is soul only is asking. It is not that some mind is asking, intelligence is asking. It is soul only is asking. It is not that you don't have experience. So don't we have experience of ourselves? We have experience of ourselves. Now, only thing is currently soul is because of this false ego now, soul is misidentifying himself with the conditions and circumstances. Otherwise, now you say that we don't have experience of soul, but at least do you, okay, now simple thing. Are you conscious? Are you conscious that you are asking some question? Are you conscious that you are attending this Bhakti Shastri class? Are you conscious? So we cannot say that we don't have experience of soul. We are only soul. It is not that some soul is something different and we have to get experience of that. The fact that you are asking question, the fact that you are asking, so it is not something. But currently, our we are having false ego also, and that is why the science of self realization is given. Science of self realization means okay, follow this process, then you get freedom from the layers of the layers of the covering of false ego and mind intelligence and all material intelligence, material mind. We get freedom from all these things. So that is so we have experience of soul because we are only soul. It is not that ki soul is something different and you have to work upon getting some special experience of soul. Yeah, we have to realize and we have to get convinced now that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. Yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So now Krishna speaks about in the last verse he spoke about what is the purpose, what is the uniqueness about his birth. In seventh verse, now he'll speak about the purpose of his birth and the time of his birth and the place of his birth and the purpose of his birth. Everything will be spoken from 7, 8, 9 verses. When does he come? What time he comes? And why he comes? And where does he come? Okay. Seventh verse. The very famous shloka. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Okay, please read.
Whenever and wherever there is decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Purpose. The word Srijami is significant herein. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation, because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all of the forms are eternally existent. Therefore, Srijami means that the Lord himself manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at
58 million.
the end of the Dwapar Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu in Monday of Brahma, he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in any way at his will. He therefore appears by his own will whenever there is a predominance of religiosity and a disappearance of true religion. Principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of the Vedas makes one irreligious. In the Bhagavatam, it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. The Vedas are also accepted as originally spoken by the Lord Himself to Brahma from within His heart.
Yes,
From
sir.
within His heart, principles of dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. These principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of the Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of the Supreme Lord. And the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita that the highest principle of religion is to surrender unto Him only and nothing more. The Vedic principles push one towards complete surrender unto Him, and whenever such principles are disturbed by the demoniac, the Lord appears. From the Bhagavatam, we understand that Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna, who appeared when materialism was
Prabhu. Well,
materialism was rampant, and materialists were using the pretext of the authority of the Buddha. Although there are certain restrictive rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in the Vedas, the people of demoniac tendencies still took to animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of non-violence. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they are all described in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by scripture. It is not a fact that the Lord appears only on Indian soil. He can manifest himself anywhere, and
everywhere. पहला लाइन में जाओ हमेशा. भैया.
anywhere and everywhere. And never that appear. Each incarnation understood by the particular people, the mission spiritual and obedience to the laws of religion. Sometimes he descends and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant or himself in some disguised form. The principles of Bhagavad Gita appear spoken to Arjuna and for that matter to other highly elevated persons because they were highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a
मैथमेटिकल प्रोसीजर सबको सीधा रखने को बोला साढ़े जैसा नीचे का पार्ट
no, probably I'm not able to.
2 plus 2 equals 4 is a mathematical principle that is true in the beginner's arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics. In all incarnations of the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. The higher principle of religion began with the acceptance of the four orders and the four statuses of social life, as will be explained later. The whole purpose of the mission of incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances.
This is Lord has so many avatars which are happening. So many avatars are coming. And what is the purpose of so many avatars? That is to give Krishna consciousness to the fallen living entities. And that is why Krishna is appearing in so many. He's appearing in water, he's appearing in the land, he's appearing as a mountain, he's appearing as so many different avatars. And entire purpose is only to arouse Krishna consciousness. So he said, in general, the principles are always same only. It is not that ki some other religions have different. The 2 plus 2 equals always 4. But there are little more advanced arithmetic classes and advanced mathematical classes are also there. Similarly, the basic things. And sometimes some people say, "Oh, आपके भारत में ही सारे भगवान आते हैं क्या?" क्या? So he said, no, Lord can appear anywhere. He can appear from the nose of Brahma. He can appear from the water. He can appear anywhere. It is not that Lord has to take. But generally, Prabhupada when one of the lecture he mentions, but Lord generally, it is his choice from where to come. So he can come from a pillar also, with even mother father. But generally, when he requires mother father, he accepts some good mother father. And if good mother father is available on Indian soil, then he'll prefer to come on Indian soil, no? Otherwise, good mother father are not there, then why he will come from an Indian soil? So any other soil. So that's why Indian he said कि भारत में ही सारे भगवान जन्म होते हैं क्या? Many people ask like that. So yeah, they require good mother father. And then the purpose of why Buddha came and why another different avatars came. So here it is said the religion is manufactured Srijami. The word Srijami, Srijami Aham. Srijami here it is Lord is not created. Lord, it is not that the Lord's form is created or Lord takes birth. Srijami means he's already there. An example of sun is there. Sun means sun appears by his own free will. So we cannot manufacture sunshine or sun. It is sun who decides, okay, I want to appear. So what is the purpose of Avtara that is being mentioned here? And the Lord is Shrajami. It is by his own will he comes. It is not that his form is created. It is already there. And so when he comes, what is the time when he comes? When there is a decline in the religious principle. So whenever there is a decline, he comes. And predominant rise of irreligion. So if you so till now, if the Lord has not appeared, that means what? There is not predominant rise of irreligion till now. Still there is a dharma here. When this happens, Lord comes. Okay. The next verse. Some more purpose for so we discussed time when Lord appears. Now we discussed why Lord comes. For what purpose Lord comes and what is the mission activities he does. So what we'll do is Prabhu, we'll take this as the last verse for today, 8th verse. I'll leave you early today because today and tomorrow I may leave you by 8 or 8:05 only. I am here in Ujjain and IIC. So 10 minutes early we'll leave and next week we'll cover. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतं धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Yes, bro. According to Bhagavad to deliver
deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu, holy man, is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be irreligious, but if he has the qualification of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. And Dushkritam applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or Dushkritam are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education. Whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as a sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well cultured. As far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear, as he is to destroy them as he did with the demons Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons, but the Lord specially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees, who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demon harasses the devotee even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by his father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appears primarily to deliver Devaki rather than to kill Kamsa, but both were performed simultaneously. Therefore, it is said here that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demons, miscreants, the Lord appears in different incarnations. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj, the following verses, Madhya Lila 263 to 64, summarizes these principles of incarnation. सृष्टि हेतु ये मूर्ति प्रपंचे अवतारे ते ईश्वर मूर्ति अवतार नाम धरे मायातीत परव्य में सबार अवस्थान विश्व अवतारी धरे अवतार नाम. The avatar or incarnation of Godhead descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation, and in the particular form of the personality of Godhead, whoso descends is called an incarnation or avatar. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatar. There are various kinds of avatars such as Purusha avatar, Guna avatar, Lila avatar, Saktavish avatar, Manvantar avatar, and Yuga avatar, all appearing on the schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primeval Lord, the fountainhead of all avatars. Lord Shri Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotee who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of Krishna avatar is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. The Lord says that he incarnates himself in every millennium. This indicates that he also incarnates in the age of Kali. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy names, and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that this culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world from town to town and village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly but not directly in the confidential parts of the revealed scripture, such as Upanishad, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants, but delivers them by his causeless mercy.
another beautiful shloka, Prabhu. This shloka tells about the purpose of Lord's appearance. So here we find it is written in the paragraph, and you can. So what is the prime purpose? So Krishna mentions the prime purpose. He said Krishna descends for specific purpose. And what is the specific purpose? That is to give pleasure to the pure devotees. And the prime purpose of is to satisfy the unalloyed devotees. This is the prime purpose for which Lord appears. And Srila Prabhupada writes, and there is a secondary purpose to kill the demons. So killing the demons is not such a very important thing for Krishna. It is not that he has to come to kill Ravana. He can kill Ravana even from his heart. He's sitting as super soul only. He can stop the oxygen. He can give one coronavirus and he can kill. So that is not the main purpose of Krishna's appearance. The main purpose is to give pleasure to the pure devotees. So it is said in every avatara, Sambhavami Yuge Yuge Krishna appears. So now somebody may say, in this Kalyuga, already some avatars have taken birth. Na? Why you are calling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Which avatar has come in Kalyuga till now? Which all avatars have come? Which one? Yes, bro. Sorry, one devotee can speak. Two multiple people. You can write which avatars have come in Kalyuga till now. You can write it in chat box. Oh, which all avatars have come? Means name of the avatars. Krishna I'm talking about. Huh? Which all avatars have come? Sorry. Oh, Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Any other?
Only name.
Oh, Lord Buddha, Haribol, Jagannath Ji, Haribol. Okay, Jagannath Ji, Lord Buddha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Haribol. So, and Kalki is going to come. Somebody may say Kalki is also going to come. Then how do you say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the incarnation in the age of Kali Yuga? So you see, there are certain called as Avatar, Yuga Avatar. In the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if you read, there are different kinds of avatars which are being mentioned. So if you see, consider the prime purpose of Lord's appearance now. If you consider the prime purpose of Lord's appearance, what is that? It is not just to kill the demons. Now, who is the Avtara who is mainly going to come to kill the demons? That is Kalki. But that is okay. That is mainly, there is not much pastimes and reciprocations and all which are being mentioned. It is said the prime purpose Kalki Avatar is to kill the demons. And considering Buddha also. So if you see, which is the avatar which has come especially to deliver the devotees from the ocean of nescience, and also not only to deliver, to give pleasure to the pure devotees, to give pleasure to the unallied devotees. So that's why that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu, Haribol. So we say that is Gaur and Nitai. So we said Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the avatara for age of Kali Yuga, because it is he who tells that the prime purpose which is being mentioned here, that that is to give pleasure to the pure devotees. And then the Lord appears in different Nama avatar, like Nama avatar, Archa avatar. The main purpose of all the different avatars of Krishna is to give pleasure to his unalloyed devotees. So Lord is so kind here that to reclaim the conditioned soul, he's coming in the Prasadam avatar. Different avatars Lord is coming, right? So here it is said, what is the definition of a sadhu? Now it is said ki, okay, for whose deliverance Lord is going to come? Sadhu Nam. Now that's why Krishna Prabhupada takes in purport here. He explains what is meaning of word sadhu. And sadhu means a holy man or one who is in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada even gives a disclaimer before. Sometimes even a devotee may appear to be irreligious. But what is the qualification which should be considered for a devotee? That he is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada even refers to his Western disciples. Sometimes Western disciples, they have taken to Krishna consciousness. They have given their heart to Krishna. But it may appear because of their past life now and upbringing now, the culture may be lacking in them. They may not be very polite in speech. They may not be having the very Brahminical principles. But Krishna Prabhupada is writing here that, oh, they are engaged fully in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should also be understood as sadhu. Not that ki because he just lacks some certain etiquettes and all, he's not a sadhu. The prime qualification of a sadhu is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, wholly and fully. Prabhupada writes, wholly and fully. And any dushkritam means what? Anyone who is not Krishna conscious. No matter how much religious he may appear, no matter how much pious he may appear, but if he is dushkritam, one who is not caring for Krishna consciousness, such are the lowest of all mankind, Prabhupada is writing here. So, the definition of sadhu is given in this verse. The prime purpose of appearance of Lord, secondary purpose of appearance of Lord are being discussed here. So we have discussed till 8 verses today. Now, in the 9th verse onwards, Krishna will speak about. Till now, I told you about what is the time when I appear. I told you about what is the purpose for which I appear. Now, if somebody understands the cause of my appearance, and somebody understands my birth, whatever knowledge I have given till you to till now, what is the result he will attain? Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti swarjuna. So we'll begin with this verse tomorrow onwards. So till now we have discussed 8 shlokas. Okay. Okay, so just a quick reflection. Devotees can unmute and speak 1111 pointer. You can write in chat box about today's discussion. What all things are discussed today, you can just unmute. And what are vital points came in the purport, you can just unmute and speak or write in chat box quickly. And we'll stop for today.
Prabhuji, you told in the starting that by deliberate spiritual intelligence one can conquer lust, and whatever one hears for a long amount of time, he will develop that kind of consciousness.
Thank you. Srila Prabhupada writes that in purport.
Priji, you also told that we should not focus on we should not focus we should not focus on our perishable body, but should focus on imperishable body of Krishna.
Thank you so much. Don't pay so much attention to the perishable bodies. Krishna says, your body is perishable and my body is imperishable. Thank you. Then Atma Maya. Krishna is not ordinary person. He can choose his time. He can choose his place. He can choose his parents. Everything he can choose. We cannot choose our parents, right? In one way. We can just desire. Okay. Anyone else? Krishna is giving knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to many devotees before. Even before giving to Arjuna, he gave to sun god. Thank you. And then parampara was broken. Krishna can remember past, present, and future. We cannot remember past, present, and future. There's a difference. Okay. Anything else? Thank you. One should not try to be like others, but take inspiration. This will okay. Nice point. Bhakti Prem Maharaj shared. Only devotees can understand Bhagavad Gita. Demons cannot understand. Thank you, Darshan Prabhu. Okay. So we'll pause for here today, and tomorrow we'll continue with our ninth verse. What is the result of discussion about Krishna? Thank you so much. Okay, who is asking question is very important. Okay, thank you, Akshay Prabhu. That question is asked by Arjuna. So it is said the value of a question is determined the caliber of the people involved there. What are the caliber of the people? Who is asking? So instead of a great personality is asking question, he will not ask question for the time pass. So thank you. Thank you, Akshay. ओके शिल प्रभुपाद की जय वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय शिल प्रभुपाद की जय।